I'm Michael Bain, and welcome to Triggered, coming to you this week from our home away from home, the GUNSITE Academy outside of Prescott, Arizona. If you're one of the many people who are taking a second look at revolvers, saying, hey, shooting a revolver is not only a lot of fun, but it's a world-class defensive tool, then this show is for you. We're here at the Pat Rogers Memorial Revolver Roundup at GUNSITE, and today we're going to get you some great world-class instruction and tips from the very best revolver instructors in the world. Let's take a look.
I get a good master grip. As I come up, I go to what we refer to as the 2 thumb pectoral index. I'll give you a little more details, or the number 2 position here. So now, the gun's up. At this point, I can start firing, and we'll talk about this stuff in a second, okay? From here, I start to get the gun under my eye line as the support hand mates. I can fire from here. This is call this position 3. And then anywhere else, appropriate extension, it's going to the 4. Okay? I've got the same draw stroke no matter what. Okay? The point is I don't have to think, oh, now the guy's on top of me, and I got to draw the gun like this. Or the guy's almost on top of me, I'm going to draw the gun like this. Or, oh, he's far away.
Why is the draw that you just outlined, which we're going to show on TV, why is that draw so important?
Because it covers all these potential things that might happen. Yes, the distance shot, but also if he's almost there or if he's on top of me, I have one. If I'm sitting behind the car, right? We always have we have these weird draw strokes to get around the steering wheel. Well, I have it's the same one every single time. And I tell people this, I'm a bear of very little brain. I can't think of a lot. So I got to have the most simple thing that I can work over and over and over and over 10,000 times. And then it's grooved in, I don't have to think about it. So I have one.
Oftentimes we see people who say, thumb is pivoting here, thumb is moving around.
Yeah.
You have something very specific. Show us right here.
Yeah, it's this. I mean, that's not terrible because at least it's physical to physical. So there is a little bit of a feedback, but it's not enough. We want as much of our chest, pec muscle, impacting as much of this is the thumb from the base to the tip. I want all of it there. So now I know where my elbow is, where my hand is. I know the gun is pointed a specific direction every single time. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to go make any adjustments. I know where the bullet's going to go. If my hips are squared here, I know where the bullet is. Boop, boop, just like it's not even a tank turret. It's like the old German tank destroyers, the elephants and stuff like that. They just move the whole tank. Well, now you're that tank, but you have to have that as much physical contact here to here for that loop.
Chuck, explain the concepts of micro-ranging when we're talking about concealed carry handgun.
So in the case of this block of instruction that Cecil and I are given, it's the idea that if you're shooting from full extension, you may be too close in order to actually safely pull that off. That you may need to shoot from a retention position, like from the 3 or even the 2 of the draw stroke, because if you're at full extension, you may not realize the bad guy, if they are within a yard or 2 of you, with one lunge, they could get a hand on your gun. Then you're fighting over your gun, you're in a handgun retention situation.
And most people think, oh, that handgun retention situation is something that happens to law enforcement officers because you're obligated to capture somebody, take them in. But close is a lot distance that you don't really understand fully.
Well, so police officers deal with people at putting cuffs on range. Hey, I need to see your ID range. That's the exact same range where bad guys are doing things like, give me your wallet. So this interpersonal ranging that when we're working with people, when we're dealing human being to human being, this is where robberies occur, this is where arrests occur, that sort of thing. So everybody will find themselves, particularly if they're being mugged, robbed, purse snatched, something like that, is going to be within that ranging.
If I think that all I have to do to touch his gun is just to reach, I'm going to do that. Notice I didn't go, bah! I literally just went, okay, that's it. What does that tell Chuck?
Too close.
He let the gun, he let me get too close to the gun. Now here's the thing. Human beings can lunge their height with no preparatory motion. So I'm 6 feet. I can lunge 2 yards. No preparatory motion. Literally. And how fast is that? Probably pretty close, if not beating, Chuck's reaction time.
You know the RIA 5.0 packs radically new innovations, but we didn't stop there. Introducing the RIA 5.0E. The E stands for enhanced, as in new optics cuts and plates. The updated barrel is crafted with improved materials and slide geometry. The look and feel is also enhanced. Plus, new lightning cuts show off the updated match-grade barrel. Experience the enhanced RIA 5.0E today.
As a matter of fact, yes, occasionally revolvers run out of ammunition. How are you going to reload them? This is some unique information from my good friend Greg Elefritz.
The issue we got, if I have an empty gun, and again, I'll show you all empty gun, I could hold the gun, reach into my pocket, load 1 or 2, but that takes a long time. What I have found that works better is this technique here, and I will reach into my pocket and pull out however many I want to load. In this case, it's 2. I am going to place the revolver cylinder, the ejector rod, either between my middle 2 fingers or between my index finger and middle finger. It doesn't really matter which one. This allows my palm to form a bit of a table. I can place those rounds in my palm like this. I can then pick them up, stick them into the cylinder where I need them. The advantage of that is I don't have to go to the pocket multiple times. The other advantage is what happens if the situation suddenly changes and I have to run, I have to move to cover, something like that. All I do is I close my hand and I can run with this thing with all the ammo still in my pocket. I haven't dropped anything, I'm not losing anything. It's all right in my hand, and whenever I get to my cover, I open up my hand again and I stick rounds in there. Easy enough, huh? Anybody seen that one before? Might it be useful to know that one?
Yep.
Yeah. Not in the cylinder. Can y'all see this?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm holding the gun like this. If I'm going to put 1 round in, where do I want that round?
Top right.
I want it ready so that I pull the trigger, it goes bang. So where is that with a Smith & Wesson revolver? It revolves counterclockwise. So if I place that at about 1 o'clock, then that's going to be the first one up. Does everyone understand that?
Yep.
Does everyone know which direction your cylinder revolves?
Most of the time.
I'm hearing some doubts.
Smiths are counter.
Okay, so your Smiths, your Tauruses, your Rugers, all are counterclockwise. Okay, your Colts, your Dan Wessons, some of the Charters move clockwise. If you don't know, do you know the handy way to tell? I'm gonna blow your minds.
Look at the face.
You see this notch right here? Everybody see this notch? Mm-hmm. Do you see how that it is essentially shaped like an arrow? Mm-hmm. The arrow points the direction that the cylinder turns. So with the Smith & Wesson, it turns counterclockwise, the way of the arrow. Does anybody have a Colt? Anybody? It's got bigger arrows, but what way do the arrows face? The other way. So if you pick up a gun and you don't know, I'll hold mine out here so you can see the two together. My arrow points downwards. His arrow points upwards. The cylinders revolve in opposite directions. If you don't know which way your cylinder revolves, that's the way to look. I hold the cylinder still and I close the revolver frame to the cylinder. I bring the frame to the cylinder, and where is it? The cylinder didn't move. It's in the right place. So again, showing you what I just did, I am holding the cylinder still. Instead of shutting the cylinder, I'm bringing the frame of the gun to the cylinder, and look where it is.
That's 2 already.
In less than an hour, I've given you 2 new things. I'm going to continue to blow your mind. You do have to practice that. You do have to practice that. Now, one more thing before we get onto these drills. The context of this, I have shot my rounds. Bad guy is shooting at me. I go to reload, and my speed loader has blown up in my pocket, and I have to put rounds in and shoot. If I'm going to start loading a second round, where should I put it in relation to the one that's already in the cylinder?
Behind it, I
Should I put it right next to it?
put it.
Or should I put it across from it? One space away? Tell me, should I do that?
You didn't say this was a multiple choice thing.
Well,
I'm
maybe
sorry.
I'm wrong, but I think you put it to the right.
The essay question is coming up later. So the goal is, if I shut this cylinder and have to go do work, I want the minimal number of clicks possible before I get a bang. Does everybody understand that? Mm-hmm. I want a bang real quick. If I put these two together, how many possible clicks could I get before I get a bang?
4.
I could get 4 clicks before I get a bang. If I put this round opposite, how many clicks would I possibly get before a bang?
2.
Only 2. So as I'm loading, I don't want to put individual rounds right next to each other. I want to put them across from each other so that if I have to close this cylinder and start shooting this guy, I have a minimal chance of having to go click, 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 bang. Okay? And the more I put in, the fewer clicks I get.
This week's Triggered is brought to you by Rossi. The legend continues. Stoger. Everyday tough. Hunter's HD Gold. They change so you don't have to. MTM Case Guard. Quality shooting sports accessories. And Ed Brown. The best money can buy for over 50 years.
Set up for a draw. So you want to not move the shoulders at all, because you do not want to give this person an indication that you're not going to comply. And people who do this for a living, like rob other human beings as their job, will pick those indicators up extremely quick of what your body language is telling them, and dipping a shoulder to get into a draw stroke is going to be an indicator you're not complying. Yes, sir, any of this kind of compliance thing, the gun's going to clear, it's going to come in and punch. And what I am looking for is the front sight to streak on the gun. I'll usually use the XS's because I can see them. If not, I'll paint the front sight high fluorescent something, because I'm actually watching for as soon as the streak comes into my vision is when I'm going to get on to make the shot, okay? So the gun's going to come back in the holster. Okay, so the gun's going to come. I'm going to feign compliance. I don't want to do anything. That's what I'm looking for in the real world. That is a honest-to-God sub-second draw. You put this on the timer. Brian's been down to the 0.5s. Most of the time I'll demo this in the 0.7s because I'm old. But that is going to be a hard move to counter, especially when I showed you the throw packs, and I'm like, here, take this, go away, and they come back for more. What are they going to give me permission to do?
Go back in your pocket.
They're going to give me permission to get back in my pocket, at which time I can sit there and go, access the gun, grip, and it's going to come right through the head into the shot. I can back this up, come to here. Any of these, those are 22s. It doesn't matter. And all I'm looking for is the streak of that gun, and that sight is lining up there. Did I pick that up naturally? Is that instinctive shooting? There is no such thing as instinctive shooting. What you will instinctively do is you breathe, you put things in your hand and club stuff. That's what humans instinctively do. When did we invent gunpowder and handguns? In the millennials of human development, this is fairly late, and there is no instinct to hold a thing in front of our face while it explodes. That's not an instinct, so we have to train and learn this. Do we do this live right out of the, F it, I'm doing it live. We're not gonna Bill O'Reilly this. This is where you get your blue guns and sort of practice this, that I am looking for, that big front streak to get that gun lined up and hit into where I'm looking.
Wayne, revolvers have gotten hot in the last couple of years. Thanks a lot to you guys. There's a lot of people teaching revolver now that doesn't have the depth of experience that I see in the instructors here. So you are the 100% no BS guy that I know.
Thank you.
For somebody who's thinking about a revolver for self-defense, what should some of the selection options be? And second, how should they train?
So regarding selection options, we probably have more choices that are really viable today than we did when I was getting into it nearly 50 years ago now. You have Smith & Wesson, Colt, Ruger, Taurus, Kimber, all are making very, very viable choices. I don't want to scare people off, but they probably should buy a more or less full-size revolver or regular frame-size revolver to learn with, and then maybe perhaps default to a smaller one for daily carry. What we find is an awful lot of people are sold a compact revolver for defense, and then when they start trying to shoot it's tougher to shoot, it recoils more, and so people will then they'll get discouraged and kind of walk away from it. If you buy a more or less a full-size revolver first to learn the craft and then add in a compact later, it seems to work out a lot better for people.
That's excellent. And those are the words from the man who honestly knows. I'm Michael Bain. This is Triggered at the Pat Rogers Memorial Revolver Roundup here at GUNSITE. You can find us on michaelbain.tv. You can find us on YouTube, maybe for another 10 or 15 minutes. You can find us on Rumble, X, we're everywhere. And hey, check out a revolver, because it may be the thing that works best in your lifestyle, because the most important thing is to have a gun. We'll see you next week.